We're going to go ahead and start in a kneeling position. Get the hands underneath the shoulders. Okay, and we're just going to sway the hips gently side to side, doing that little wake up feeling, kind of letting your tail wag to one side or the other. And then we'll swirl the hips around. Feel the weight shifting from the knees to the hands and back again, and then reverse. Good. And then go ahead and go into your cat. So you're going to tuck your tail round through the back slowly. Let your eyes come to your thighs. Push away with your breath out. And on the inhale, reach the head, the heart, and the hips into your cow. And rolling through the whole spine. Exhale, press the floor away. Find your cat with a deep tuck of the tail. And then inhale, release everything into cow. Good. I'm going to have you turn your body sideways. Okay. And then you're going to put out one knee to that Captain Morgan position that we talked about. And we're going to just experience a lean of the knee over the foot. So just make sure that you're in a position where you get a little bit of the reach of the knees. So if you have to bring your heel closer, make that happen, or farther away, kind of figure that out. And then we're going to make this dynamic. So you're going to inhale, wind up. For the exhale, you're going to reach, and you should feel kind of a stretch across the hips. Back in, inhale, exhale, and lean. Inhale, open. Exhale and lean. Inhale, open. Exhale and lean. Good. And then whichever leg is down, take that arm up and over and find a little side bend. Great. Gently switch to the other side. Obviously, use a cushion underneath if that feels uncomfortable. And then same thing. Take a few leans and just make sure that you're finding a stretch and an opening, but it's not giving you discomfort in your knee. So just adjust as needed. And then you're going to wind up with an inhale, exhale, twist and lean. That's convenient. The beauty of Bluetooth. Exhale, lean. Exhale, lean. Good. Last one. Exhale, lean. And then whichever knee is down, take that same arm up and over. And then bring it back. Okay, let's go around to lie on the back. Knees bent and feet flat. You're going to gently rock yourself into your pelvic tilt. So imagining that your pelvis is a bowl. So you want to tip the bowl forward and then spill the water out over your pubic bone. Tip the bowl backward, spill the water over your belly button. Tip the water forward. It's like a little sloshing and backward. We don't really have a rounded shape apart from the gluteal mound, but I do think it's helpful to think of it as a bowl. And then same thing, I want you to spill the water to the left. So kind of tip your hips to the left and bring it back, and tip your hips to the right. And this is just one of those things I think you can do in your bed in the morning that just feels kind of nice. And now we're going to spill in all directions. So you're going to spill to the left, spill south, spill to the right, and spill up. So you're kind of rolling around the edge of that bowl. Again, not forcing anything, just feeling the gentle. You'll feel the shifting in all of the sacroiliac joints as you do that. And then you're going to go the other direction. Hopefully it's like a nice kind of soothing feeling. And then I want you to find a place where your bowl feels perfectly balanced. You're not spilling water in any direction. And we're going to go into our march here. So you're pushing one foot down and then hover the other one. So I don't care how high the foot comes. All you need to do is remove it at all, and you'll feel the weight shifting into your middle. And then if it's okay, you're going to interlace your hands behind your head and add a curl up into your ab curl as you march. And then maybe a little breath out. So keep the bowl still. Sometimes when we add the ab curl, it's really tempting to start spilling the water back towards the belly button. But keep yourself even. Doesn't matter how much you curl up. Breathing out as you climb up. One more each side. Good. Take the thumbs around the base of the skull. Give yourself a little lengthening of the neck and then just kind of let your head rest down. Let your shoulders be wide. Let your hips be relaxed. I want you to extend one leg, keeping your bowl steady. You're going to float that leg up to the ceiling, float the leg back down, and then drag the heel in. So it's a little complicated choreography here. You're going to reach, float up, float down, and back. And you see, I have my hands on the front of my hips because I want to make sure I'm staying even in that bowl. Yep. So we reach, lift, down, and back. Reach, lift, down, and back. Reach, lift, down, and back. Last one. Reach, lift, down, back, and lift, down, and back. And then take your knees wide and take a nice windshield wiper here. Hopefully we're starting to feel the body waking up. And I'd like you to actually tip the whole thing to the side so that we can roll over. Okay, we're going to go into our book opener, or as you know, I like to call the Bridgerton arms. You're lying on your side, your knees are bent at 90 degrees. You've got your hands clasped. Inhale, reach the top hand, and then peel the glove back. And as you exhale, open your shoulders towards the floor. Bring it back. Take a breath in. And with your exhale, open towards the ceiling. And then number 3, inhale, reach. And we're going to open up, exhale to the ceiling. And if you want to add a little added pressure, you can take the hand that's back, press down on the thigh, allow yourself 1 or 2 long breaths in this twisted position. Really try to sink everything into the floor, release it all. And then you're going to interlace your fingers behind your head, staying in your big twist for a little bit of an ab crunch. So you're going to exhale, just kind of peek your nose up over the horizon and then down. Exhale. So we're not forcing, we don't want to crunch here in this side. We're just doing a little bit of a lift, shifting the work into the side of the abdominals. Do 8 to 10 of these total, depending on how fast you're going. Good. And then let yourself come all the way back onto your side. You're going to extend that top leg. You've been working on this side bend. I want you to prop yourself up onto your forearm. And then top leg is long. Take the same arm. And we're going to come up and across. So you're picking your lower side body up and then finding a big stretch over the top. And then relax down with control. 2 more times. Exhale, up and over. And then down. 1 more time. Exhale, up and over. Good. And then relax. And then I want you to take yourself around so that you can lie on the other side. Knees are bent in roughly 90 degrees. Stack the palms in front. Take a breath in as you reach. And then you're going to use your exhale to open the chest to the ceiling. Take it at your pace. We'll go 3 total. And then on number 3, we'll sit in it for a little bit. Take a breath and then open the chest. And if it feels good, take the arm that's left behind and put a little pressure on the top thigh. Breathe deeply into that twisted stretch. Good. Staying in this position, you're going to interlace the hands behind the head. Take a breath in through the nose, and then a little exhale, and we curl up. And just gentle lift of the head and kind of just taking the eyes over the horizon here, not forcing the ribs down to the hip. We're going to go 8 to 10, depending on your pace. Keep working with the breath. Three more. And then on this next curl up, I want you to just rotate your body back to the side. You're going to prop yourself up on your forearm. Take the top leg long, push the foot into the ground. And we come up and over into that side bend stretch. And then control it down. 2 more with a nice breath. Exhale up and over. And back. And exhale up and over. Really feel that length from your fingertips to your hip. And good. We're going to roll back onto the back and get ready for some single hip circles, single leg hip circles. Okay, so straighten one leg out and then pull in the opposite knee. For me, it's my right knee. And you're going to give yourself a gentle stir of the thigh bone in the hip joint. And then stir the other way. Take the opposite hand across your thigh and pull yourself into a corkscrew. Look over the shoulder. You can adjust the angle of the thigh so it's going to change the nature of the stretch in your hip. So kind of figure out where you want it to be, what feels best. And then bring yourself back to center. Extend that leg to the ceiling. And you're going to point and flex at the ankle. And then give yourself 4 ankle circles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle the other way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I think our hips are ready now. We're going to square off the shoulders. Press your arms firmly down, and then you're going to also press down that supporting leg. I want you to draw a line up and across your body. You're going to let this hip pick up and then plop it back down. 2 more preps, up and across, and then let the hip drop. On this next one, up and across and hold, and then turn it into a circle with your legs. So sweep down, let the hips calm down, and then up to Trivatha. So we're going to repeat that 4 more times. Up and across, sweep, exhale to ceiling. Up and across, sweep, exhale to ceiling. 2 more, up and across, sweep, exhale to ceiling. Last one, up and across, sweep, exhale to ceiling. We're going to go to the outside. Down and then sweep back. Now your hip comes up again and land. 4 more times. Use that breath. And 3. And 2. Last one. Good. And then you're going to keep that leg up, flex at the ankle. I want you to kick a soccer ball over your head. We're going to go 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep pressing the supporting leg down. 2, and 1. And then reach that leg out of the joint. Lengthen through your whole body. Add the hands. You should feel like the leg we just were moving is like longer than the other one. That's the goal. Now, before we go into the next side, let's go ahead and bring both knees, both feet bent. So you're gonna line your feet up with your hips. And we're gonna go into our first articulated bridge. So tip your water backwards into your belly button and then roll the hips up. And you want to land in a place where your shoulder blades feel nice and wide on the mat. And then give yourself a second to pull yourself over your feet. So kind of try to pull your knees over your feet a little bit and then take a breath in. And with your exhale, roll down through the spine, trying your best to have the upper back land before the middle back, before the lumbar spine, before the tail. Nice and slow. Okay, two more like that, nice and intentional. Peel up, pour the water backwards, roll up through the hips, squeeze from below, pull your knees forward in space, even if it's just very slight. Sip of air at the top and roll down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gorgeous. One more time. Rolling up. Feel the opening in the hips. Pull the knees forward. Take a sip of air. And then try to lay your tailbone down a little farther away than when you started. And then extend whichever leg you were just swinging. In my case, it's right leg. Extend that one out. Now we're going to do the other side for hip circles here. You're going to gently stir your thigh in your hip socket and then stir the other way. Good. Take the opposite hand across, reach onto the outside of the thigh, pull yourself into corkscrew and look away. And then you can adjust the angle of your thigh to the optimal place for your hip stretch. Bring yourself back to center, straighten the legs at the ceiling. We'll point and flex at the ankle. And then 4 ankle circles here, 2, 3, 4. And then the other way, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go. Shoulders wide, arms down, supporting leg is pressing down. We're gonna go 3 preps, okay? Up and across and lift to that hip and then bring it back. Imagine just thinking about kind of, again, that water tipping. So the water's pouring out into the floor. Number 3, we turn it into a circle. We're gonna go down with the leg, around, up to the ceiling. 4 more. Pour the water out, circle it around. 3, 2, 1. And then we reverse. We go to the outside, down, and then pull it into that twist again, and up. 4 more, and 3, and 2, and 1. Get ready to bend it like Beckham. Flex your ankle. Here we go. Kick overhead. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to lower and reach the feet. Reach the fingertips. Hopefully now you feel that sense of evenness and length in the whole body. Okay, we're going to grab onto the backs of the thighs and just do a nice little roll of the back here. So you can make it kind of floppy, bringing the knees and the feet up overhead. Keep rolling. And then I want you to roll until your shoulder blades hit. Your head is up. You have the option to interlace your hands behind your head or grab onto one shin and you're going to pull for single leg stretch. Send the other leg away. We're going to go right into our ab series here. We'll do roughly 6 of everything. but you know my counting is not so great. Okay, and then we're gonna go double leg stretch. You're gonna inhale both legs away. Exhale, pull them both in. Give yourself the width that you need to make it comfortable. 3, 4, 5, 6. Interlace the fingers behind the head and send the legs to the ceiling. They don't need to be perfectly straight, but I want the heels connected. You're going to inhale the legs away. Exhale, bring them back. Try to keep your bowl as even as you can, even if that means you're not moving your legs as much. It does not need to be big to be work. 2 more. We're going to take a little break after this. Beautiful. Let's plant the feet. Take them wide on the mat. And you're going to give yourself a nice swish, swish your windshield wiper. Okay. Bring your heels in line with your sitting bones in parallel. And I want you to press up with a flat back into a bridge. So we're not rolling anymore. Just squeezing the glutes and pushing straight up. Okay. And then let your hips lower. Barely touch the ground. Squeeze and lift back up again. Okay. So we're never quite resting on the floor. You're almost tapping and then pressing back up again. Let's go 4 more. Good. Rest your hips down and bring your feet close together. So I have my kind of balls of the feet touching. So they're really quite close. We're going to repeat the movement from the beginning of class. So pick your hips up. It doesn't need to be super high. And you're going to, again, take that right leg, straighten it out, lift, lower, put it back. Other leg, reach, lift, lower, put it back. And try to keep that bowl really still. So try not to spill any water. Yep. Reach, lift, lower, and back. Reach, lift, lower, and back. Reach, lift, lower, and back. 1 more each side. Reach, lift, lower, and back. Reach, lift, lower, and back. And then you're going to rest your hips down. Turn your insteps in to touch. So the inside of the heel, inside of the ball of the foot are touching. Your knees are at 45 degrees, basically. And we're going to bridge in this turned out position. Yep, so bridge and barely tap it and lift. It's not a big bridge. Let's go 8 more. Keep that breath coming in through the nose. Okay, and then walk your feet nice and wide. Rotate your knees in to touch. And we're going to go 8 times here. Two more. Good, and then rest down. And then walk your feet back. You can take another sway if you like. We do have 2 more in our ab series of 5. So we're going to get ready for that. Okay, let's pull the knees in first. You have the option to interlace the hands behind the head on this first one, or if you like a classic straight leg stretch, you're going to hold on to the calf or the knee. And the other leg is long and hovering. We're going to switch, and we're going to keep that bowl really still. So trying to keep those hips from spilling any direction. Nice and smooth. Almost there. You can flex at the ankle if you want to feel more stretch. Good, and then back with the knees into the chest. Now you definitely interlace the hands behind the head. We're almost there. We're going to go into our crisscross. Rotate one armpit to opposite knee, back to center. I'm breathing nice and smooth. If you're smelling flowers, not doing anything stressful. We're going to go 6 on each side. 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Good. You can either pull your knees into your chest or you can go with another windshield wiper, depending on what feels good to you. Grab onto the backs of the thighs. We'll do another roll, massage the spine into the floor, and let your hips come up. And then roll all the way up to sit tall. Okay, we're going to go into spine stretch. So your legs are as wide as your mat. You're sitting up high on your sitting bones. We'll prep by reaching the arms up with a big breath in. As you exhale, you're going to push on the air like it's heavy and just really let your spine spiral up out of the floor. Again, inhale up. Exhale, press. And then we're going to take it into our stretch. So we lift up, inhale, and then it's like the exhale is a big wave coming up and over the shore, but you can never quite reach it. And then up again, inhale, up and over, big menacing wave on the shore, back to tall, and then up and over. One more time, up and over. Press your right hand into the ground, left arm reaches up, inhale, and then exhale yourself to rounded position to the side, spine stretch side, inhale, exhale. One more each way. Feel that side bend, sink the opposite hip down. And then opening the legs a little wider than the mat, we're going to go into our T arms and we're going to go right into soft. So you're going to rotate and then dive past the middle of your foot. And we're going to go with a pulse of air. 3, 2, 1. Inhale up, twist, pulse. Almost like you're trying to just get past the foot. Don't worry about touching the foot. Can you rotate beyond the foot? And up, rotate as far as you can. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to take those legs, roll over onto the side for our side lying legs. Rest your head on your bicep or a bent arm or a cushion. Your bottom knee is bent and your top leg is long. Okay, get it right underneath you so your head to hip to heel is a straight line, and we're going to lift and lower that leg. We're going to go 6 to 8 of all of these. And I have my hand on my hip as just a reminder to stay still because I have a lot of trouble staying still without having anything against me. We're going to kick the leg forward and then drag it back, keeping that hip again nice and still. And then come forward 45 degrees so you're relatively over the bottom knee. Rotate your knee and your toes downward from the top of the thigh and give me a really deep hip crease. So kind of really send your booty back in space. Long hip. See those little adjustments we made there? And we're going to lift and lower. Woo! Feel that one through the heel. Okay, now drop that knee down. You're into your prep for clam. You're going to pick up the feet. So I want you to clamshell that knee and then reach through the straight leg. Reconnect the heels and then bring the knee down. So we open, kick, connect, down. 3, open, kick, connect, down. 4, open, kick, connect, down. 5, open, kick, connect, Down, 6, open, kick, connect, and down. Good. All right, let's push up into mermaid. So as you push your body up, send your top knee backwards and your front knee forwards. They do not need to touch each other. They don't even need to be perfectly bent, so you could even straighten one out. Okay. First thing I want you to do is just try to settle with a gentle rocking motion into this position. And then whichever knee is in front, take the same hand, slide it down, and then reach your arm up and over, but sort of actively reach the hip away. So you're tipping your same sitting bone down. And then push yourself back up, counter stretch. We'll go 2 more of those. Slide up and over. And then bring it back. And then again, a glide and over. And then take your counter stretch. And then you're going to fold forward either directly over your front shin or with a wee bit of rotation towards the knee, whatever feels good in that hip, and just take a couple breaths there. Okay, great. Let's swing everything around. We're gonna get into position for side lying legs on the other side, resting your head on your bicep, a bent arm or a pillow. Getting a little accountability through that top hip. Reaching long, and again, flexing the 8th ankle. We're gonna go 6 to 8 of everything. Good. And keeping that hip still, we're going to sweep forward and back. Really squeeze the glutes as you bring it back. Feel that squeeze. And then you're going to bring it forward to 45 degrees. Rotate the knee and the toes down. Give me that deep hip crease here with also a long hip. And then we're going to lift lower. Okay, and then bring the knees together and the ankles together. Pick up your feet for clamshell. Open and kick. Really push to that heel, bring it down and together. Nice and slow and controlled here. Really open that leg as much as you can. That's really where the work is here. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. And rest down. And then we're going to push up to mermaid on this side. So the top knee goes backwards in space, bottom knee goes forwards in space. And then wherever you've landed, make sure you can find a comfortable position and a gentle rock here. Whichever knee is in front, you're going to take that hand out to the side, up and over, lengthen. And then take your counter stretch. Number 2, glide to the elbow if that feels okay. Reach the same sitting bone so you get as much of a side bend as you can. Come up through middle. And then number 3. And then you're going to forward fold. Kind of figuring out if there's an amount of twisting to the left or to the right that makes this more meaningful for you and your body today. Good. And then pick it up. I want you to rotate so that you can lie on your stomach. Let's start in just the forearms here. The hips are nice and heavy. You're going to kind of drag the forearms back so that your collarbones are wide to the wall in front of you. And we'll go single leg kicks. You're going to kick one heel to the same hip and then down, kick, and down. You want to feel that squeeze of the muscles at the back of the thigh. Squeeze, and down. 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 One more each side. Good. We're going to go to baby swan. One hand stacked over the other. Attach your forehead. Make sure your pubic bone and your hips are pressed into the mat. Tip up the nose, bring the hands with you. A little lift of the upper back and then down. 3 more of those with your breath. You may find that an exhale is supportive on the way up, or an inhale, kind of depends. And then finally, we'll walk our hands roughly to the shoulders to peel up using as much of your upper back as you can before engaging the arms into your full swan. Melt down through your whole spine. Good. 3 more, peel up. You can adjust the hands closer to you to get up higher if you want more extension. If that feels like too much, you can walk your hands away a little bit. You should ideally just be looking for a stretch, especially after that ab series, stretch of the abdominals. All the way down. Walk your hands to about the ribs. Push yourself up, and then you have the option to go into your standard cat pose here. If you want to drop the elbows down and let your head dangle and tuck your tail, you can round everything and just kind of counter. Or if you just really want a child's pose here, that's also fine. Really feel the round and the tuck of the tail. The head is dropped. And then push yourself up onto your hands. We're going to close the way we usually do, which is with a half kneeling stretch. So one knee is forward, cushion the knee that's down if needed. Most importantly, we tuck that tail and then lean into a stretch, opening up that thigh in the back. You can stay here, or you can add kind of an up and over sensation with that arm if that feels good to you. Keep tucking the pubic bone underneath you. Good. Bring that knee back and switch. Your other foot is forward. Again, tucking that tail. Give yourself a nice lean. You might find that one side is tighter than the other. That's super normal. And then if it feels good to add the same arm up and over, go for it. Good. And then find a comfortable seated position, either on a cushion maybe, or if you want to kneel, if you want to sit cross-legged. And we'll just take a moment to turn in before approaching the day. I invite you to engage in a shoulder roll where you inhale the shoulders up to the ears and then really just let them glide down back on the exhale. I also invite you to close your eyes if that feels supportive. And while you're there, I invite you to join me in a visualization of a great big magical waterfall where you are stood on a flat rock at the very top, and you have magical suitcases at your feet. You're going to pack away in those magical suitcases anything that you're carrying today that is burdensome or feels like it's not serving you. You're going to pack all that up, clasp up those suitcases, and then wrap your fingertips around the handles and feel the weight of all of that as you pull your shoulders up for one last shoulder roll. Breathe in. You reach those bags over the edge of the waterfall and let go with your big exhale. And then feel the lightness that remains in its place and fill up with gratitude, appreciation, compassion, anything else that you're needing today. And exhale out the dregs of whatever you want to leave behind. Thank you for practicing with me today.